And Shinazz show without Gaz is Gaz. Gary Dover, welcome back to the show. You've been traveling
Hello.
yourself.
Yes, I have. Very lucky to be over in the Pacific Islands for the last 9 days on a little bit of a cruise with the family. So it was really good. I obviously couldn't watch the footy live, but got back and checked it all out. And I didn't realize the influence that I had on the team.
Yeah, strong influence, Gary. You leave, they lose. Now, for people watching the YouTube, apologies about the hair flying all over the place.
It's
I need a
beautiful.
haircut.
It's glorious.
Gary, Sharks lose in a heartbreaker.
Yes.
And I didn't really have it in my top 10 of heartbreak because I wasn't thinking about that. I was just thinking tackle, 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 get the ball, get the ball, get the ball.
Ugh.
Oh, my God. But in hindsight, almost a week later, that's got to be in the top 10, I reckon. Just as far as last minute losses for us, brutal.
Very brutal.
Canberra earned it fair and square, but the Sharks go down in a thriller and nail biter. One they definitely should have won. We will be doing a pretty much exclusive mailbag episode later today, and it's there.
Packed,
The mail's there.
jam-packed.
It's not all negs, but there is some negs there for those of you that like to listen to some negs. But we're here to talk about just what's going on and just chat Sharks like we usually do on the Gaz and Shinazz show. It's usually a little bit lighter, but we can get into some dark matter, like Sharks losing 2 in a row. They've only lost 3 in a row under Fitzy in the past year and a half, I think once. So good signs there for a bounce back in Perth against Manly. It's going to be tough, though. And how are you feeling, Gary? You've been around the club this week. You've come back. What's the vibe like? Is the world ending?
Yeah, like obviously I'm pretty refreshed and feeling good, but yeah, after 2 losses, it's not the best atmosphere, but the boys can either sit there and sook about it or move on and do what they need to do to get over to Perth and have a good win. So they've taken their lessons. They know what they need to do. They're biting the bullet and getting stuck in. And I think we'll see a different side out there in Optus Stadium in Perth on Saturday afternoon.
So the positives were, Gary, that they came off a really indifferent first half. Like first half, they were no good all over the shop.
Yeah.
Second half, in a lot of areas, they were a lot better. They defended really well. They were grinding. They grinded out to a lead. Now, Hudson Young went to the sin bin. Unfortunately, the only way we could capitalise on that was 2 points initially, then nothing else. They didn't go to that side where he was missing. There was a real sort of clunky attack happening. In hindsight, I'm sure they'd go there like 8 times.
Yeah.
They just didn't. I don't know why, but they will, and the fans are going to hate me saying this, they will learn from that. Like if they're down to a one-man advantage this week, I have full faith that they're going to know what to do.
Yeah.
I'm not suggesting they didn't know what to do last week. It just didn't happen.
They did look a little lost in some areas, and they probably dropped off in intensity and things like that they usually have. Like if we're attacking and defending like we were at the start of that South game, and we hit the Sea Eagles with that intensity, I think we'll be all right. I think we can put the game plan together to get over the top of them. But yeah, there was just a few areas there where it almost felt a little bit lost, and things were happening that you don't usually see happen. And we could stand here and make excuses of whatever, but one bounce of the ball in that last play a different way, and it's a different result. So
it is.
You've got to take it as what it is. And unfortunately, we lost. We've got to move on. We've got to regroup, and we've got to get back into playing our best footy. And hopefully, we can do that on the weekend.
There was a chance for Trindle at the end to seal the game with a pass to Billy Burns. He took the tackle. It meant that they had to go length of the field. I could see his thinking there. And he probably thought, well, if they have to go length of the field, it's not going to happen, given we've defended so well in this half.
Yeah.
And it was a Hail Mary that got him there, but it has to be said, there was some poor defensive lapses there.
Yeah.
The boys were completely gassed, and right, wrong, whatever, that's just a fact. You can look at it at their body language. It doesn't mean they weren't trying. They just couldn't get there. And that could be for a number of reasons, but Canberra could get there. They won the game. But I was impressed in the second half with the defence.
Yeah, we definitely tightened things up in that second half, which we needed to do. Obviously, the first half, we just write that one off. We did a few things there that we don't need to talk about. But, that second half was a much better defensive effort. And I think if we build off that, the Sea Eagles have a pretty big pack, and they've got some good outside backs, some quick guys on the wings. We need to sort of shut all that down. And the best way to do that is with some good defence. And, hopefully we get that sorted this weekend.
So the team is heading to Perth as we record, or in the coming hours. And there's a bunch of things going on there. We've got a lot of listeners and viewers in Perth. So A, hello. Hope you're doing well over there. B, have a great weekend. And you can go meet the Sharks. There's a meet and greet. I think a short little window of a meet and greet, and there's also a captain's run. It might be for members only, so you need to check all your T's and C's and go on sharks.com.au and just check it all out. Don't take my word for gospel, because I am not the gospel man when it comes to this kind of thing. But good news, Sharks are going to Perth.
Yeah, last time we were over there was really good atmosphere. We had lots of fans turn out. We didn't even have an open training session. There was probably 50 people there, so it was really a good for to get over there and feel the support and feel the love. And this time we're going over as a home team, and yeah, hopefully we see all the Sharks fans out there. So looking forward to getting over there into WA and seeing our Sharks members and fans tomorrow, I leave. So
over the years we've won 4 of 7 in Perth, but we've won 3 in a row. So the Sharkies like going there. I don't need to remind you that our man of the match from last time in Perth is starting this week in the centres. He's the poster boy on all the Sharks promo for the team list. And he was top 3 best players last week for the Sharks, Mawini Harotti.
Yeah, he stepped up last week, which was really good. That nice little try he put on, he defended pretty well.
Beautiful.
So, he's he knows what he needs to do. He's been in and around first grade for long enough to be able to step up in those moments when someone's out, and you have no issues putting him wherever he is, and he's going to do a job. So, yeah, he played really well. Hopefully, he can build off that, and I think he'll have a good game.
Now, before we get to team list and a bit more manly analysis, I want to hit you with something that I haven't prepped you for.
Here we go.
It's a little controversial,
Uh-oh.
but we're just going to talk about it like 2 Sharks fanatics that we are. Our chairman, Steve Mace, the great Steve Mace, got a box up there somewhere. He was in the press, I think, late last week, and he was defending our halfback, Nicho Hynes. And he had a few statements like, I think they're almost quotes, like it's un-Australian to bring down Nicho. He's part of the tall poppy syndrome. And basically he was saying, for the betterment of the game and the club, not to mention Nicho, people need to stop sort of excessively attacking him. And I quite liked what he said. I thought it was a strong statement, sticking up for his player. Do you have any thoughts on that interview? I think it was with Dina Ritchie, I think.
I haven't read it, but I can see where it's coming from. And obviously Nicho cops it a fair bit in the media and in the fan groups and everything like that. And, people pay good money to support the club and they have their right to say their opinions. But yeah, in my opinion, sometimes it is a bit far or a bit unwarranted. And, there's 13 other guys or 12 other guys out on the field with him. He's not always the one making the mistakes. He's been defending pretty well. He's leading the NRL in some stats like line break assists, things like that. Like, he's doing his job. Yes, he can probably do it a little bit better, but so can the other blokes on the team. So I think if we start working together more as a team and stop looking at individual performances, we'll probably come out of it a bit better. So yeah, I definitely support what Steve said, and I can see where it's coming from, and I definitely agree with some of it for sure.
It's a super fine line, and I'm with you. I agree with what Steve said, and I really like the fact that he was on the front foot. There is that fine line, though, where it's the fan or even the critic, the podcast guy. They have the right to, I guess, critique the game, because that's what we do. We analyze it to the nth degree, which I personally love doing.
Yeah.
It's not for everyone. And when you do that, you do see things. And then you look at a contract and the length and the price and the reputation, and you take away from that how you do. But unfortunately, there's a line that does get crossed.
Yeah.
And I personally would never cross a line like that, and never have, never will. But other people do, and that's their business. But that's where I think Steve Mace is coming from. I don't personally think he's sort of saying, if a fan says, "Oh, Nicho had a bad game," well, you can say that.
Yeah,
that's
I'm not saying that's wrong or right. I'm just saying, like, yeah, there's warranted criticisms there and opinions that are very valid and things that have happened that, yeah, definitely need some commentary around them. But, it comes to a point where it just goes that little bit too far, or just little things that don't even matter become the biggest problems, and I just don't think we need it.
And to quote Craig Fitzgibbon, it's getting a bit weird,
It is
because
getting a bit weird.
I think that's where Steve's also coming from. It's just like there's this onslaught towards this one player. And if you look at the 17 guys, he's not sort of in my personal top 4 guys that I'd be like, hey, can you...
Sure.
Having said that, the halves last week, they were clunky. So we're not...
But it happened after round 1, right? And that was the first time we'd scored points against Penrith in 2
happen.
years.
Yeah.
Like, we played a fairly okay game, a few mistakes here and there that cost us the game in the end.
Yeah.
But, at the end of the day, I thought we started pretty well and he still copped it.
Yeah, and I just wanted to raise it because it is topical, and I guess I wanted to draw attention to it, which probably Steve wouldn't want me to do, but I just thought it was like I'd rather someone do that than just sit in the corner and go, I'm not going to comment on that.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
All right. So on that, by the way, I've got a great story about Nico.
Here we go.
Can I tell it?
Of course.
Okay.
It's your podcast.
There'll be no names mentioned, but during the week just gone, I think the weekend, so post Canberra on the weekend, a friend of mine, friend of the show, was out at, I think, Miranda, Westfield, somewhere with his kids. His kids are, I don't know, 10 and 8, something like that, 2 boys. And they saw Nico just out and about. And they were freaking out because they love Nico. And the dad said, look, you know what? If you are polite and you choose your right time, you could probably go say good day, and I'm sure he'll be fine. And Nico was more than fine. He took a selfie and was lovely, and it made the kids' day.
Yeah.
Made their day. Like all night, they were just buzzing about Nico. The dad in the situation did let Chairman, who we've already discussed on the show, know because they have communication. Chairman sent message to Nico. I'm going to get in so much trouble saying this. Nico gets their contact details, pops around with some merch and a footy, hangs out with the kids again. The kids are now lifelong fans if they weren't going to be anyway.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That doesn't make someone a great footballer. That makes someone a great human being. I'll leave it there.
Yeah.
Steve, Nico, I apologize. Don't have me blacklisted from Hop Sings. All right. Manly.
Yes.
In Perth at Perth. Let's go. I really want to win. I don't think it's must win, but I really want to win. We want to get back on the winning streak.
Yeah, we need to get some momentum behind us.
What have you made of Manly this year? They're a bit up and down.
Yeah, absolutely. They've been up and down. Obviously, they had a pretty bad loss against the Storm. Nearly had 50 put on them, or did they have 50 put on them?
Almost,
yeah. So, obviously, they'll be looking to bounce back. They'll be coming out red hot, ready to go. And, yeah, as you mentioned, they've been up and down. We've been up and down. So, it's going to be an interesting matchup this weekend.
So, they're missing Tommy T,
They are.
But their replacement in Hopewadi is really good.
Absolutely, yeah. He's pretty quick. He's like a little Energizer bunny at the back there. So, yeah, we've got to keep the ball away from those fast guys on the wings and at the back. And hopefully our guys can get in some space and, put people through some holes and yeah, roll through the middle like we have been to start the year. And I think we'll be all right.
So on the Sharks team, comparing it to last week, so Hiroti maintains his spot, as we said. Iro is probably a few weeks away.
Yeah.
He is back running lightly, which is a great sign. The forward pack is Teague Wilton's back
Teague's
from
back, yep.
sickness, which is awesome. So Teague goes straight back into the starting second row. Your immediate bench is Atkinson. Talakai is back from his concussion protocols. Awesome. Toby and Tall Tom at your immediate bench. And then the rest of the bench, extended bench, is Tuku, Billy Burns, Hohepa, Jaden Beryl, and Jesse Colquhoun on the comeback trail yet again.
Like to see that, awesome. Don't you?
So it's a strong list of people that Fitzy has to choose from.
Yeah.
I don't imagine that list will change unless there is sickness or injuries, but that's how the Sharks look. They're immediately stronger, with all respect, having Teague Wilton starting and having Talcott on the bench.
Yeah, absolutely. Those guys, especially Siffer off the bench, he brings a lot of impact. He's been playing through the middle to start the year, and we missed him a little bit last week. But yeah, I think having Teague back just gives the guys around him a bit more confidence. They know where everyone's sort of positioned and everything like that. They've been training there all preseason, all through the first few rounds. That was a bit of a tongue twister, that one. But yeah, I think he definitely shores up that side for sure.
So looking at the Manly pack, Josh Alloway and Takiaho, the former Rooster, and maybe part-time Bulldog, I don't know. That's their starting props, right? So all respect, no issues with them. But in Fanua Blake, he could kind of squash them as one. And we need Oregon to step up a little bit. His numbers have been down.
Yeah.
Don't know why. Don't know what the coaches are saying. But just looking at it with the naked eye, he could maybe have a few more runs. But I feel confident they can own that front row.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
The problem's going to be the back row. And it's not the Travojevic brothers, with all respect. It's a guy called Homali Olakau'atu. So
Yeah,
not sure about the first name, but Olakau'atu, obviously, he's a giant. He's one of the best players in the NRL, probably the best second rower in the game, close to it. And he is lethal in attack, offloads, and his defense is really crunching. Doesn't mean he can't miss a tackle, but when he gets you, you'll feel it.
Absolutely.
So I dare say, although you don't target just one person in how to stop someone, I think he's the guy to go to stop.
And it's the offloads, right? Like, we've got to wrap that ball up. We've seen it over the first few rounds that some guys are getting a few balls away that they probably shouldn't be. So if we can wrap the ball up, especially with a guy like Olakawatu, I think we'll be all right. But yeah, that back row is pretty strong with Trebojevic, both Trebojevics and Olakawatu. So we'll have to be on our game.
So a lot of fans, and you'll hear this in an upcoming episode this week, a lot of fans have written to me and saying why are they lacking so much energy, particularly in the second halves?
Yep.
Is it a travel thing? Is it a sickness thing? Is it something else? And I have no answers for you. But what I will say is coming off their bench is a gentleman called Nathan Brown. He's in the gallon mold, a bit quicker with all respect. He plays the game very fast, very hard.
He's aggressive.
He engages the line more than he does the hit-ups. So once he's off the bench, the Sharkies will want to have their energy sorted because he's going to definitely come at you.
Yeah.
And I mean, Sipley's on their bench. He's a big boy. Bullymoore's a workhorse. Jake Simpson's backup hooker. So we've got Talakai, Rudolph, and Hazelton. So I feel like we can get them, but you got to be looking out for Nathan Brown.
Yeah, for sure. He comes on and obviously brings the energy. So once our bench gets on the field, we need them to do the same. And, you know, Sifa does it pretty much week in, week out. He comes on, he runs hard, he tackles hard.
Yeah.
If everyone can lift as well. And, you know, bring back that intensity that we spoke about earlier that we had against South. And, you know, we were sitting down here and sitting up in the stands and you could feel the intensity of the tackles and feel the intensity of the runs. We need to get back to that sort of football. So, yeah, I'm not sure why we might have been looking a bit tired. You know, people are starting to mention all the travel that we've been doing, but the boys and the coach don't want to talk about that. They're just here to do a job. And, you know, it might be taking a toll, but at the end of the day, we've got to get up each week and get sorted for a game. So we've just got to do what we need to do and get it done.
It won't surprise you, Gary, that I've been staying up late at night worrying about the travel, trying to work it out. And I haven't come to a conclusion yet. So there's a few more sleepless nights ahead of me. But I'm starting to think there is no reason to mention it because a lot of teams travel. Now, don't get me wrong. Canterbury, I don't think have left Homebush, for example, you know, being dramatic about it. The Broncos are always in Brisbane. A lot of teams at the moment haven't traveled like we have. So there is a difference. I'm not suggesting there's not a difference. But I think when it gets down to the crunch of it, super fit athletes, I think maybe it was the illness that went around, and then you could blame the travel. You could say, well, they traveled and got COVID. Okay, well, sure. But it's not actually the travel. There has been some sickness over the past month in the club, just throughout different people. Even Teague had it last week. He was out. So I can't blame the travel pretty much for anything.
Flip it on its head, right? Like, if you're talking about how you're not traveling at the back end of the year, it's probably a really good thing. So, you know, we've got a nice draw at the back end of this year. And if we can, you know, hold ourselves together and get stuck in to finish the year through the origin period, all that stuff, I think everyone will be saying what a good draw we had in the end.
Absolutely. Apologies for any internet issues right now. Before we go, Gary, good news. Good news. You want good news?
I always want good news.
Confirmed in the finals this weekend, our SG ball team.
Yes.
Our Lisa Fiola team and our Tasha Gale team. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, it's absolutely awesome to see the Pathways teams, you know, making the finals. And, you know, they've all been playing really well to finish off the year. And hopefully they can kick on and continue on with their run. And, yeah, looking forward to seeing the results over the weekend. Hopefully a few wins under the belt.
All right, Gary, we're going to let you head off to Perth. Have a great time.
Thank you.
We may even speak to you from over there as a spoiler, see how we're going for time, both of us. But make sure you come back with the 2 points.
I will. I'll do my best. I'm back in the team this week, so hopefully all things well, we'll be back on the plane with 2 points.
I can confirm he did park in the players-only car space.
I meant to say that.
Can you tell everyone what we saw above us before we go, just before we hit record?
It was an eagle flying
what
very highly above, just soaring around, not even flapping its wings.
It was an eagle above us, soaring around, looking at us, and it was a bit eerie.
It's all right.
That's
I'm
a
not
true
one for
story.
Superstition.
We're at Shark Park. We love Shark Stadium so much. It is our home, and we'll be back here in a while. Obviously, there's stuff going on. We're traveling around. Might as well have fun with it. Can't sit and mope about.
If you're in Perth, get to the game.
Traveling too much.
If you see me over there, come say hi.
Yeah. SharkCast's own Gary Dover in Perth. There's a lot of SharkCasters who listen to the show from that area,
awesome.
And there's also people going over. So it'd be a fun time.
Beautiful.
And until we speak to you again, which will be real soon because there's a bunch of episodes coming out before the game. So stick with us, subscribe, like the whole thing. We're on the YouTube. We're on the podcast platforms, all the socials. We have a website, sharkcast.com.au, which people are starting to use, which is awesome. We'll talk to you soon. Gary, thanks for your time. I know you
Thanks
don't
for
have
having
any.
me. I never have time, but I always have time for you and SharkCast.
All right, up. We'll talk to you all soon. Going to hit end. Bye.